I was going to use that blue marker. On page 46, we're going to continue adding notes to bonding. So now we're going to write ionic, I'm going to make this a capital, ionic bonds. Okay, ionic bonds occur when an electron is transferred. The electron is transferred. Ionic bonds do not occur between just two nonmetals, like covalent bonds. Covalent bonds only happen between nonmetals. Ionic bonds happen between two different types of atom. And we can probably figure this out by looking at this. Sodium. Find it on the periodic table, number 11. What section is that? Is that metals, nonmetals, or metalloids? Part of the big swath here. What are the most of those? Jackie? Metals. So, sodium is a metal. Chlorine. Let's see where chlorine falls. Chlorine's all the way over to the right. What section of the periodic table is that? Non-metals. So we've got a metal and a non-metal. That means ionic bonds always form between one metal and one non-metal. We can add that. I can't believe we forgot last week with covalent bonds. But when it's transferred, it's between a metal and non-metal. Questions there? Okay. We'll draw out an example here in a second. Let's look back over here. I need to turn my video camera. So we've got a sodium and a chlorine atom near each other. How would this look if we modeled it comic book style? Right, we got the electron from each atom feeling the attraction of the other's nucleus. Remember, the protons are positive, so this attraction to this one and this attraction over here is pulling them together. Because the chlorine has more protons, it has 17, it has a stronger attraction, and the electron then is going to transfer from the sodium to the chlorine. Oops, no, go back. That looks good. Go back. There you go. Okay, so we've got the pole. The electron is transferring. It's kind of funny how they depicted that. And we end up with the positive sodium ion, the negative chloride ion. In the end, we have sodium chloride. The two atoms are simply touching together. Now, tomorrow, we're going to start drawing these properly. We're not going to draw them as comic book style energy levels and all of that. We're going to draw them the way that physicists and chemists do, using Lewis dot structures. But we still end up drawing electrons. So just to keep that in mind, this is why we're practicing the style with the models. It's easier for us to see. But again, just like covalent bonding, the interaction is just with those outer electrons. And what are those outer electrons called again? They have a special name. Drake. The valence electrons. Valence electrons. All right, ready to draw a schematic in our notebooks for an example? Yay! Yay! Let's draw an example. Okay. I'm going to use green and red for Christmas. So in your notebooks, underneath the information on ionic bonds, let's draw out an example of a sodium and a chlorine. Woo! Just wanted this to refresh. So first, we'll draw this one. Let's skip that first one. First, we've got the sodium and the chlorine. Because chlorine gas is green, I'm going to use green for the chlorine. So we've got the sodium. And just going to put the symbol in there, and I'm only going to draw the valence electrons. Is that okay? Or do you want me to draw all the electrons?
Yeah.
Just the valence electrons. So in sodium, there is only one valence electron. Then chlorine. Chlorine has 7, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, bless you. 7 valence electrons. There is an attraction here between the two that holds them together. And then so that's 2. I'm going to make this a little bit longer because this is attraction is 2, the protons in the center there in the nucleus, and this attraction here. So they're attracted to each other, which pulls them together. And that's what I'm going to write as a little description. Attraction pulls atoms together. Next frame. In the next frame, we're going to show how the electron from the sodium is being given to the chlorine, or is transferring to the chlorine. So we've got the sodium atom. We've got the chlorine atom with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. And then we'll have the electron from the sodium atom leaving the sodium and transferring to the chlorine. So what could we write as a caption for that one? What should our caption be? Which way is the electron transferring? From which atom to which atom? Shaylee? Yes, so electron transfers from sodium, you can write the word sodium if you want, or you can write the symbol, from sodium to chlorine. Third frame. Mine is getting cut off here. There we go.